was in elementary school at Toby Hanna Elementary Center in the Poconos. Anybody know about the Poconos from the Poconos? Woo! All right. So we were there probably for Girl Scouts or something. We were after school. We were exiting out of the parking lot. It was my mom and me. And she was fumbling with her purse and with her lighter, with her cigarettes, and all of a sudden, a pack of Kohl's Menthol Kings falls to the ground. I don't know what got into me, but I looked over at it as my mom was still fumbling, and I picked up my foot and I smashed the entire pack of cigarettes. I got in trouble. I imagine that my mom said, "You need to respect your mother and her things." But after I thought about it, I think I know why I smashed her cigarettes. It was either that year or maybe the year before, but it was the Great American Smokeout. I think it happens in November. And at school, they issued us certificates to pass out to a smoker that we loved. They were supposed to sign it and pledge that they wouldn't light up, not even for one day. So of course, I gave it to my favorite smoker, my mom. She just laughed at me. She wouldn't sign the cigarette, probably blew smoke in my face after I asked her. So those two traumatic experiences led me to become an actress, director, and movie writer. Together with my cousins Heather and Holly, we made up a movie, which was probably more of a PSA, but it was about a girl who smoked, and then she died, and then she rose from the dead to teach other children not to smoke. It was great. It's still on video out there somewhere. I had the starring role as well. But fast forward a couple years, actually more than probably a couple decades, in the early 2000s when that new law hit Pennsylvania where you couldn't smoke in restaurants or bars, that new law killed my mom because she was a bartender at one of the Pocono resorts. And she also worked in real estate, but people really weren't buying and selling properties in the Poconos like they used to, so she relied on that income from her part-time job. And she told me that after that law came about, people stopped hanging out at the bar. At least, the bars in the Poconos and the mountains. People that hung out at the bars all night smoking and drinking instead decided I can smoke in my own home. So they would just do it there, pick up a case and a couple cartons, and the crowd at the bar dwindled. So did my mom's income. So even though I supported that decision, I hated coming home from the bar smelling like smoke. Like when you take a shower the next day, it just kind of like raises off of you. So I was happy about it, but the way my mom explained it, it kind of made sense. So I had to respect her opinion on that matter. So then about a decade later, in 2011, we found out a little too late that my mom had lung cancer. It had already metastasized, it spread throughout her body. And I was visiting her one time at Geisinger Medical Center, and her best friend Pat was also there. And she said, "Hey, let's go for a walk." She was very sick, but she was still in good spirits. So I kind of knew that she wasn't allowed to go for a walk when she brought her, her IV cart with her. But we walked out to the front of the hospital, we went downstairs, and she lit up a cigarette. She's dying of lung cancer, but she decided she still wanted to smoke. And in that moment, I was so angry at her. I went back to when I was a kid and I stomped on those cigarettes and wished I could stomp out all the cigarettes over, those past 30 years or so. But then I looked at her again, and I realized she still has a rebellious streak. All those stories she told me when she was a teenager, it kind of came back. And I looked at her as she was talking to Pat, and she was huffing and puffing, still on her Kohl's Menthol Kings. And I decided, I'm just going to let this woman enjoy her cigarette. She deserves that much respect. Thank you.